Welcome to the October 1st meeting of the Waterboro Planning Board. Before we get started, I had a request from Dave that we had in our last public hearing. We had a lot of cross conversations in the audience and on the board. And what that does, it makes the audio so muddy that it's hard for them to pick the minutes out of it. So if we could, just try to keep that to a minimum. That's it. Our first appointment is a relocation for the Carons on Galli Lane. We had a site walk there on Saturday. They're just going up. They're not moving one way or the other. Actually, one stairway will probably move away from the sideline because they'll be pitching it in a different direction because of the height. Can't move back. They're right on the road.
That's this one right here, right?
Yes.
We're not going to get a survey with this?
Well, I
guess
think
it's just going
that
up,
would be a
right?
condition for the building permit.
And I see the mark our code enforcement officer had asked about checking the septic up there.
I think that would also be part of the permit, but that's just me. That's just my opinion. There weren't any trailers on the lot when I was there. There weren't any porta potties. It was just clean, nothing but a camp. That was something that Mark brought up.
On the survey that you had done, and last week, he was comfortable with the pins and everything, that they weren't roving pins, he was comfortable with those?
Yeah, he seems
Okay.
very comfortable. He's okay with them, you know. Yeah, I am.
Okay. That's that. As long as he's comfortable with them. Make a motion that we accept the accept the proposal to put a foundation under the camp as written.
Is there a septic
Well, it's,
plan now? Or?
The
as I recall, what's their first septic now?
1974, so
Okay.
it's on our record.
Yeah.
you're gonna have to have the building inspector's gonna have to have there'll have to be a septic system on file
To their
for a
side.
building permit.
All right, how about if they do that, we'll put a condition on it?
Well, it's part of the,
All right,
so I'd
fine.
second it.
Okay.
Any discussion?
We got a little bit of discussion. This is staying the same place, the same size building going up straight up.
Yeah.
Nothing's being added on.
Yep.
Okay.
Drip edge is not changing, no change.
Okay.
And that's
I'm all
obviously a
set.
condition of the permit.
3 inches, right? Not 3 feet.
We're hoping for 3 feet.
I saw you sneaking that one in.
So a motion in the second, any further discussion? All in favor? Thank you, folks.
Thanks a lot.
Good night, thanks.
Enjoy your new foundation.
Second appointment is a setback reduction, John and Donna Martel, Hush Puppy Road. Good evening. You folks just fill us in on what you had in mind, please.
Yeah.
Please approach the podium.
You have the plans with you, right?
We should, yep.
Well, my parents have been here with my dad, John, my mom, Donna, and they've been there for 42 years, and everything's been great. But it seems like now that they're getting older, a garage would be something that would be useful. It's on a hill, and we feel that it would be necessary or very helpful with them getting a little older. I think we meet all of the
They don't have to
setbacks.
mention you're getting older,
Well,
too. Once was enough, wasn't it?
it is
Okay, I thought so, yeah.
happening.
Yeah, we get the idea.
I think we meet all of the setbacks except for lot number 4, which is it's a plot of land owned by the Tannins that own the island, so it's not a buildable site. I think we're only like 3 or 4 feet.
And your right of way also goes through lot 4, correct?
Correct.
So that kind of limits what you can do with it.
Correct. So we're looking for.
How close is that going to get to the front, to that line, to this lot 4?
The setback would be at 93 feet if that lot didn't exist, if it was considered a
Right, but
right-of-way.
because the lot does, where's it going to fall?
You're going to fall at 4 feet on the left-hand corner of lot 3.
Yeah.
Well,
And this is a right-of-way going in
Right.
that just continues into this lot. That's their access to it.
That's the far corner.
This drawing says 12 feet to the corner
Yeah,
line.
it does.
Well, that's the side. From
Just from the back.
lot 3 to lot 5, you have 12 feet,
Yeah.
and then you have 4 feet from lot 3 to lot 4 in that left-hand
Oh,
corner.
I see, okay.
And then then you would have 93 feet to the road to lot 3.
Yeah.
And then you meet, I'm not sure of the setback on lot 2, but it's 30-something feet.
Yeah, 30.
And this is a non-conforming lot of record, right?
Yeah.
Lot 4 is.
Lot 3 is.
Is it what? I didn't understand what you said.
Lot 3 is a non-conforming lot of record?
Yes, that's the one we're here to run.
Yeah.
So at no point you'll be closer than 12 feet to another line.
From the sideline.
From a sideline.
The one, if you see that lot, the line between 3 and 4, they want to be 4 feet off of that.
Can't do it. It's got to go to ZBA.
That's what I was thinking too.
It's got to go to ZBA.
It's
We
like,
can't.
this is different than jacking up a camp. This is putting an addition.
Yeah, we can only go.
And they gotta prove the points that they didn't create their own hardship, that it was beyond their control, and there's 5 or 6 points that you have to, 5 or 6 criteria. I don't really know them all. I know one of them is that you weren't involved in creating the hardship, that you haven't got a reasonable return on your investment, and I forget what the other 3 are, but,
Yeah, it's not.
and
It's
it
not
should
gonna
be, I
degrade
thought
the-
this should go to the zoning board of appeals.
We can only go to 10 feet. I mean, we can only do a waiver to 10 feet in lots of non-record. I mean, that's the whole idea of the ordinance that's coming up.
Right.
But ZBA can go less than that.
Even though that's a right-of-way,
Now, what if?
It's a lot of record. That's the problem.
Well, what if by chance the Tannins sold them lot 4? Would that null and void the?
That would be a problem.
Yep.
Yeah.
Then if
Or
the
even
Martels
sell-
owned lot 4,
Or, yeah,
then
even 40
they would
feet
be
of it.
within compliance to the road, right? Then we wouldn't
Yeah.
need any
Yeah.
other
Yeah.
at that
What
point.
you're trying to do is get away from that line that divides those two. If you move that line forward, you're good to
Right.
go.
well, what if the connecting part from the house to the garage, what
If we backed
went
up?
closer?
What is?
Is
How,
it
ba-
10
how far
feet?
back? How far?
We have a
10 feet.
9-foot like walkway from the house to the garage that we plan on
Creating.
creating. So if we cut that down to 4 feet,
Well, he puts
You
you
would-
at.
So then that would.
So you already
we
got.
need a 10-foot. Is that what
Yeah,
you're
it's
saying?
a drip
10
edge.
foot from the.
Well, no.
yeah.
If you say the plan you already have is 4 feet off, and you say you can scrape up another 9 feet,
We could another 6
6
nine-
feet.
nine
You can
is
get
what
10,
it
you can
would
get
be.
10
6
feet
feet.
from that line.
I mean, you'd have, at that point, you're playing such a thin line.
Right.
I would go
really
11
recommend a
feet.
survey and have the surveyor place a pin.
Right.
Because if you are 9'11" and 15/16,
Yeah.
you're in trouble.
You're in
Right.
trouble, right.
Do you folks want to go back to the drawing board, look at maybe buying lot 4, or look at reworking your plan and come back in again?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Or you can go to ZBA, the zoning board, because they have the power to make the changes for you
Well,
as it is.
yeah, but their requirements are a lot more stringent than you'd be
Yes, you
better
should know
off.
that up front.
Yeah, that's it.
Get it
You have
down
to prove a
10 feet,
hardship.
you'd be better
Yeah.
off.
Okay.
Is there?
It's not an easy process.
No.
So either making it within that 10-foot or purchasing
10 plus, yeah.
10
Yeah.
We're going to say 12.
But clearly,
Clear the 10 feet while
Okay.
getting some property.
has that been surveyed? I mean, is there a way to establish for sure?
The markers are all there. The
Okay.
pins are in place. There's cement
Just,
markers.
Frank will tell you, the pins move
Oh,
around a
yeah,
lot,
okay.
so around the lake, so just make sure that, somebody that, I would invest in the survey to make sure that
Right.
the pins are where they're supposed to be.
There are wonderful stories in the old
Yeah,
days.
Yeah,
Yes.
The
exactly.
guys who surveyed these lots.
So the options are rework your plan, purchase 4 if possible, or go to the zoning board of appeals. If
Okay.
you guys bring it back in again, and there won't be a fee or anything, just come back in again.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Why don't they just move it over?
I think that's what they're talking about.
No, they're talking about going back. They're talking about going to the house, because they've got like 9 feet there.
Good night, thanks.
Yeah, I don't think they go that way.
Our next appointment is relocation for William Murdock on Penny Circle, excuse me. I think he was in before and was approved, and was looking at making an alteration to that.
Yeah, but you weren't wearing that the last time.
No, I had to come
But you're really
directly.
pushing.
Well, I came directly from work, so.
Okay.
Everybody's busy.
Okay.
So I think we have a couple maps. What it comes down to is a change on the deck, correct?
Actually, no, it's, well, yes, but it's also just the site map that you had from May 21st was done by Sebago Technics when we, as you go through the building process, revise the size of the project, et cetera. We, under the direction and encouragement of Mark and Tom, had Sebago do a second plot to show you the smaller and more current design approach that we have on the same map.
Okay.
And that we were trying to save the foundation
Yeah.
and found out that it's better to do a new foundation. So we're not changing the size of what we submitted, we're simply putting a foundation under it.
The size is staying the same,
Exactly, yeah.
new foundation.
But looking at, comparing the two maps, it looks as if that deck would be built closer to the lake.
Yep. So,
Because we see a porch underneath, concrete walk.
Well, the
And
porch
you-
is existing, but underneath the deck is underneath the deck. Yes, I guess, again, according to the two maps, yes, there's probably
Yeah.
more deck than there was first time.
I think in the original, it looks as if they cut the corner to stay out, to stay away from the lake.
how close does that corner come to the lake?
It's the same distance as the house. It's right at the same line as the house.
Yeah, but it gets a little bit closer. The deck is closer than like the far right corner of the porch.
I guess. Things to
We don't have a measurement of that.
Yeah, we don't. It doesn't really show the water here whether it runs parallel or not.
Just
Well, you have the apparent high water mark, and you can see that it doesn't run parallel to the house.
Oh, the shoreline is not straight.
See,
obviously.
so
Yeah.
it hooks in. So that's what
Right.
it
So
is.
that
That new proposed deck is closer to the lake.
Yes, I
Yeah.
agree. Yep. Not by much.
Is there
but-
something, isn't there something in the ordinance?
Well, actually, and just to correct something, Andy, it's what we're talking about is the corner of the deck, because you already approved the previous
Yeah,
deck,
exactly.
so it's just the front
Yeah.
corner you're talking about.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it would be squaring, you just
I
be
just want to square
squaring
it
off.
off. That's
right.
all I was trying to do.
But the trouble is, it's like, we can go up, we can go back, we can go sideways, but I think we're pretty much prohibited from
From going
building closer to the water.
Isn't there something in the ordinance that you can only grant one variance? Didn't we talk about that on a lot? Like you can come in and ask for 130% expansion
Yeah.
once?
Right.
yeah.
So does that fall into this criteria at all?
Isn't this within the 30? Because we reduced the size of the original plan, as you can see.
Okay.
So as long as you're inside that, you're
I'm just
allowed
making
to-
sure we're not granting another variance on top of the 30%.
This is a modification of the original.
Is it a modification or is it a
Yeah,
new
I would
submission?
consider it that.
According to, just scaling off the drawing, it looks like the far left corner of the deck is about 10 feet closer to the water than the far right corner of the porch, but it's only, it's probably 5 feet closer than the house itself,
Yeah.
which explains, if you cut that corner, that's why that,
Yeah.
it doesn't have to be as severe as what it was. That's like a 45 with a clip in it.
Yeah.
I mean, technically, we already had the previous one approved, and then you started the clip. That's where you could start paralleling the shoreline, so you're no closer.
So it's basically, what, 2 or 3 feet?
Yeah. Yep. You just can't be closer to the water than.
So if I rounded the corner of that deck,
Yeah. If you clip, like literally, if you clipped it, you didn't have to be as severe as the 45 you had. It's just if that's clips and so it stays
sure.
no closer than what it
Show me
was.
what you want me to do. We'll do it.
I'd say just whatever change you can make to stay within the original approval,
Sure.
whether to round
Yeah.
it, cut the corner, whatever, to make it
That's easy.
decorative, or, as far as I'm concerned, that would,
If
Yep, I
move-
agree.
Go ahead, Frank.
Yep.
Go ahead.
What was that?
I was gonna say, the front page, it says amendment from Plan 21. Amendment from Plan 21 is doing the same thing, you're just amending it going up.
That's correct.
This is actually an expansion,
All right.
because he's actually adding deck. So this should
but
not
that-
be an
Frank, we
amendment.
reduced the size of the lot going backwards from the
But
first.
from the approval that we gave you,
Right.
it's bigger than that approval. So we approved one thing, and now it's actually gotten bigger. And
Right.
it's just a technicality, but it says amendment. It's not an amendment, it's a change. It's a brand new.
Yeah. But there was a
So
proposed
my
deck
question
on-
is there notification to abutters again and all these type of things?
God,
I mean,
I
if he doesn't have the deck there, I think to amend it and just say he's putting a foundation, I think is fine. But if we're changing the size of the structure, once again, it's not really an amendment, it's a change.
Andy, if you
We're
look at the
adding more.
drawing, and you look at the back of the first suggested drawing,
Yep.
there's a larger addition on the back of the first drawing.
Yep.
We've reduced the size of that and simply added a 3-foot
I got it.
corner.
And that's not amending, that's changing the plan, is my point.
Andy, I'm the one that wrote amendment on it. I
Okay.
probably should have written revision, so that's my error on my
Okay.
part.
It's,
But this is what we approved, and it says proposed deck.
I have them backwards. I'm sorry. The clipped one is your new one.
Yes.
This is your new. This is what you're coming to us for today to ask for. The clipped corner one.
Well, actually,
No.
no, it's squared off.
we
We
approved
squared it off. We would like to square it off, Kurt.
I think that was the original proposal, was the proposed deck with a cut corner.
Correct.
In your packet, you'll see a survey that's very, very small.
Yep.
I couldn't read it, so I enlarged it on the next page in hopes that everybody else could read it
Yeah.
also.
So you eliminated that part of the
Correct.
deck. All right. Now I'm starting to get
look
on
at the
the
deck
same
out of the
page.
back of the
Okay,
building,
so
it's far
Kurt,
from the
just to stay
lake.
with Kurt for a moment, Kurt, yes, we eliminated the portion on the back of the house, made it smaller, and only adding 2 or 3 feet to the front deck on that
He's
corner.
taken the part that's away from the lake and he's moved it towards the lake,
Right.
which is
And I
opposite.
understand that, Andy. Yeah, that's valid.
It's definitely smaller. It's just that it's going the wrong
Yeah, you start
geographical.
moving towards the lake.
So why don't we just cut the corner off? I mean, leave it the same size. I mean, I'm just here to get a permit.
If only it was that easy.
I'm not trying to be difficult, but we hold people to this, and it's hard to
Yeah.
hold it to one person, not hold it to somebody else, because the whole idea is to keep you away from the lake.
You mean, this is like the canons. I understand canons, in the church, so it's law.
Yeah.
Okay, no, I'm just teasing, that's fine.
I understand can is like artillery, but
Canon is the rule, meaning the rule, so I understand that, that's
Yeah,
fine.
up sideways or back, but not towards the water.
So we have to remove the corner. If we remove the corner, and I thought I was simply coming in because Mark and Tom said this was fine, to ask for permission to put the foundation under it. So that's what I thought I was
The
doing.
foundation is
fine.
not a problem because that, believe it or not, that doesn't count as living space.
No, it doesn't.
So we've had that discussion. So that part is fine. It's the fact that you're coming closer to the water.
I understand. I'm happy to walk away with no corner on the deck.
Okay. All right. We're all set then.
Yeah, the guy put your railings on won't be as happy.
Yeah, right.
But as Andy says, does that require
I
the whole process all over
think if he's
again?
not getting close to the lake, I don't think it should be an issue for us. If he was getting close to the lake and we were to grant it, I think you've got to notify the abutters, because there's going to be people in town that have been denied for the same thing.
So what he's doing is complying with.
But if he's saying he's going to maintain that distance from the lake, nothing's getting closer to the lake, I don't feel that we would have to go through that
So
process.
would you make that a motion?
I can make that a motion. I'm not sure if I'm going to make that a motion. I would make it a motion to approve it, approve having a foundation under it, and approving the deck change, subject to no part of the deck is closer to the lake than at the corner of the house.
I would second that.
In the closest corner of the lake, in the closest corner of the house to the lake.
So we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
You good?
Thank you.
Okay.
Any questions?
Well, I thought I was clear until Andy made his motion.
We have that problem a lot with it.
No, it's already been voted on. You
I
can't.
thought that was a pretty clear motion.
Well, no closer to the lake than the
Corner of the house, closest corner of the
Closest
house.
corner of the
The
house.
porch,
Where your
to the right-hand corner of the porch.
right here. where
structure, whatever
Oh, I
structure.
see, so you have to follow the shoreline is what you're
Yeah.
talking about.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
You're
where the
not
house, where
closer
the
than
house
any point of
meets,
the house you currently have.
So, can I make it even simpler? The first design of the deck with the cutback corner, does that comply with what you're asking me to do?
It butts a little bit. This little section down here
Yeah.
does come closer by a foot, whatever. You know, it's just this point right here that pre-exists.
Yeah.
You can't be any closer to that point to the lake.
Okay, what if, just to push this a little further, what if I brought the whole deck back away from the water, starting at the corner of the house, a foot or 2 feet? Could I then square it off?
Yeah.
Yeah.
As long as you just don't go closer
Yeah.
to the water than your house currently
Right.
exists.
So it's okay for me to, I would be in compliance with what you just voted if I bring the whole deck back a foot
Sure.
and square it off.
As long as you, that far point now doesn't get it, because the way you're sort of following that water line then.
Okay, so Kurt, I think I'm with you. So if I brought it back a foot, could I bring the corner out anymore, or do I still have to cut off the corner?
You can't be closer to the shoreline than you are right now with the house.
I think I didn't clarify this. If the corner of your house,
Yes.
at the closest point is 110 feet from the lake,
Yeah,
the closest point of your deck to the lake has to be 110 feet or more.
Right.
to the lake.
To the
Yeah.
lake.
To the lake.
To the high
So-
water.
High water.
Get your high
High
water mark, there's a difference when the
Right.
lake is full.
So the other way to do it,
Not
just to
when
keep
they
it
let the
attractive,
water
is to
down.
maybe just start at the corner of the house and make an angle back.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
And whatever point, when you do that circle, whatever point is closest, your deck can't be any closer to the lake than your house is.
Got
I
it.
guess
Yeah.
overall it's a reduction in the original proposal. Whereas we're small, we're making it smaller, so we are more compliant than we were originally.
Right. The other point on this drawing that I'm still in the process of finding out is, which you've already approved, is the setback for the garage. Garage setback is approved. I have to check it against the telephone pole that's there. And if I'm not in compliance with the telephone pole, my solution is to make a smaller garage, to go from a 2-car to a 1-car. I'm just
Or
notifying
get
you
two
of that.
smaller cars?
Who gets to park outside?
Yeah.
Yeah. What,
We have
from
10
2 cars to
10
1.
people.
That's 15. So it doesn't work unless I move the pole. We're getting a price on moving the pole.
That's expensive.
Yeah.
And so, I can say my prayers and
It'll
work for you.
thank you
Enjoy.
guys very much. This was
You're welcome.
Good night. Thank you. Our next appointment is informational only, and just for the record, this does not constitute the beginning of an application. This is just an informational meeting with Mr. Sylvestre on wilderness campsites and camping. Would you like to just fill us in on what you had in mind?
Okay, map 5, lot 25, we want to put some wilderness campsites in the upper end of it. If you look at the survey over there, it's all going to be towards the top, away from the conservation area. And what we're looking to do is just like natural camping, basically. It's basically for sportsmen.
Meaning no running water, no electricity.
There'll be dug wells with hand pumps, no electricity, no cable, no TV.
One dug well?
What's that?
One well?
No. There'll probably be 4 or 5 of them.
The only thing I got a question on that, if that's a public water supply, I think it's gonna qualify as a public water supply.
How many sites are you looking to put in?
It's somewhere between 40 and 60.
But they're all random. I mean, they're not established sites.
It's just random.
rough it out.
basically. You know what I mean? There'll be little pockets here and there.
I mean, when I read through the application, my biggest concern was the dug well. I mean, I get the whole rest of it is I get.
Yeah.
I don't think. I almost wonder, are you better off not having any water in there at all? The porta potties would work, but I think you're going to have a hard time with a dug well meeting public water standards.
Well, they'll be all if they don't work out, it's going to be all tested.
Okay.
So the water's going to have to be fine, or it can't.
Yeah, it's just going to
Can't
be an
use
issue
it,
with shallow
basically.
wells. That's
Right.
I think the biggest thing is how are you going to handle your septic waste?
We're going to have porta potties, and if somebody does come with a unit, it's mostly tent stuff, but if somebody does come with a unit, they're self-contained, we're going to put a 1,500-gallon holding tank with a septic system for a dumping station, basically.
So you'd be taking campers in there too, is that what you're saying?
They can come in, but there's no seasonals, none of that stuff. Most of it's going to be like 3
So
days.
this isn't primitive wilderness camping, this is wilderness camping. There's
Wilderness
two different definitions.
Yeah.
so. Like a question is,
So there'll be roads throughout here, or
There'll be a main road and then little pockets here and there. You'll probably go in and come out. We want to put a pond in at some point. That's the easy stuff. We'll take care of that later.
So these campers that come and go, come into the year, come fall or winter, everything's out.
We're planning on 3 seasons
All right.
because it's for sportsmen,
Right.
snowmobilers,
Okay.
ATVers, hunters, fishermen. People that want to play outside but have no place to go.
so
Basically,
4 seasons then.
The fourth season,
3
which is
season.
fine, but
Which season you looking at?
Springtime.
Mud season.
Yeah.
Well, where do we draw the line if a camper stays out there year round?
Huh?
Is that on us to, say somebody got a camper and they just leave it there year round? Is that still
No seasonals.
There's no seasonals.
So they're gonna go away at some point?
They'll go away within 3 or 4 days, basically, you know what I mean? Nobody's gonna stay outside for a week. Hardly anybody,
This is
anyway.
Waterboro. We
You
got
know what
some
I mean?
tough people here.
With no power and stuff.
Waterboro people aren't gonna live there.
Yeah, right.
I think I have no problem with the concept of the idea. I mean, I like the idea. I mean, at first, when I first read the proposal, I was sort of like, eh. But the more I read it, and I read the explanations you had about wilderness and primitive, I get the idea of people looking for a place so that they can just be in the nature and go. My concern with it is water in the outhouses,
Right.
the porta potties. I really don't have a problem with the holding tank because it's a holding tank.
Yeah, it's the same,
And,
septic system, the big
yeah.
one, that's all.
So that concept, my biggest concern would be infrastructure and stuff like that. If there is, what do you do in the event? I mean, I guess it'd be no difference in going up into the White Mountains and somebody gets hurt up there. But how do you recover?
That's state property. Or federal property. There was a big difference.
But we'll obviously be insured, you know what I mean? You gotta do that.
No, I'm just thinking, like, say somebody in the far corner breaks their leg or whatever in the back corner, getting the EMS personnel to the backside would be my biggest concern about.
Well, that's
I would think that falls under the roughing camping and
Well,
let them
yeah, I
drag them
mean-
out to the point where they can leave.
that's the one big stomping ground that falls under our fire chief. Because somewhere along the line, he's going to need a negotiation with our fire chief.
Well, I already spoke to the fire department, I told them when I put the pond in, I'm gonna put a hydrant in there
Yeah.
for them, and they're good with that,
Yeah, well, I'm more worried about
Most-
EMTs, when somebody
Right.
gets hurt in the back corner.
Right.
The one reason that all I've done is you don't find this on anything but state and federal and public lands is because you run into a liability
Right.
problem. And you've got to negotiate with our fire chief, literally on paper, and say how you're going to supply access, training for
Okay.
EMTs to get people out.
For example, I don't know if you most likely come from here, obviously.
Yeah.
And I went down there to go hunting last year on that road. And I didn't go because there was cars lined up all over the place.
Yeah.
But anyway, who's liable for all those hunters?
Who's liable for all the
For all
what?
those hunters. If somebody goes in the woods hunting.
Last time I checked, we weren't charging them to go hunting.
No,
No.
I mean,
Oh,
if they get
okay.
hurt.
I got your point.
Oh, I
there.
see what you're saying.
I got your
I
point.
assume
there.
this is not going to be a sign up. Anybody wants to come on in.
Free.
It's all free of charge. The minute you make it a business,
Right.
uh,
So what you're saying, if somebody comes and they want an ATV and the ITT trail's right across the street, so if they hit the trail, I'm responsible for them when they hit the trail?
It's just
Is that...
it's
no,
today's
I'm
litigious society.
saying that you need to negotiate with the fire chief
Okay.
on how you're going to supply to meet state requirements. How you're going to supply EMT and fire safety in there, because you're off the beaten path.
Right.
The state does it because we have inland game and fishery and park rangers and all this stuff.
Right.
Which is the one reason I've found searching that I've yet to find one of these on public property. I couldn't find one. I did weeks of searching to find a primitive wilderness campground
Right.
on public property. I couldn't find it.
This doesn't really
Okay,
qualify
why don't-
as primitive wilderness, though.
No,
This is like a
what-
hybrid.
This qualifies as wilderness camping.
Why don't we start with, get us something from Matt, the fire chief?
Well, let's not
Okay.
get ahead of ourselves.
Well, I
because
think
we
that would
don't-
help.
We don't even have an ordinance that covers this.
Yeah.
Well,
No,
all right.
state-
That's what I want to bring up. We only have one ordinance for campgrounds in town.
Yes.
You would have to get a waiver for almost every single section.
Yeah, I looked at that, and that is
I mean,
way off
and
what
it
we're
is way
trying
off.
to do. I
But
mean, we
there
don't
are,
even
there are
want...
probably limitations to what we will waive and what
Right.
we won't waive. So I think you want to be aware that we'll waive probably certain things that are just far off. But one of the things that I'm going to have a hard time waiving is some kind of functional sewer system, some kind of functional infrastructure of some kind. The other thing that I'm going to struggle with, we don't have a wilderness campsite, but I didn't expect it to be 40 sites. I expected it to be a dozen, because I look at it as being a very high-maintenance business. People are coming in every 3 days and leaving every 3 days. A lot of turnover, a lot of strange faces.
Yeah, but isn't that a good thing? Don't we want, like, people to
Well,
come
you
in
know,
and shop?
and it
do
probably
breakfast
is, it
and-
probably is. But from my honest to God, my experience from people that go camping, the ones that are apt to go for a short distance that aren't seasonally are partiers. You know, they're coming down for the weekend. They're going to party up for the weekend, and they're going to be going.
Well, we got
I have
rules, you know.
rules. And I guess that was where I was going with that. Is how do you supervise something like that? Is there going to be a structure there where you're going to live on site? How do you
I live on that road.
How do you So you live on that road. How
Yes.
far down from where the...
Well, I'll be there most of the time, or
It's
somebody
my-
will.
You're going to sleep in the woods and
Sure,
watch
why
and
not?
watch your 40 acres for a whole summer.
Come on, yeah.
And these are some of the things that I have concerns about, because
Yeah.
if you leave 40 people unsupervised in the middle of the woods in
Oh, no,
a
we
tent,
can't do that, obviously. That's,
well, I don't know.
we already know
This-
that.
these are concerns that I would have that would have
Right.
to be addressed before I would approve something
Yeah.
like that. It has to meet the ordinance within reason, and I'm sure you'd be granted some variances in that problem.
Right.
And I'm going to have to be convinced that it's going to be managed in such a way that it's not going to be a detriment for life safety or safety issues with the fire chief partying and boozing and running around crazy.
It changed in my outlook when you talked about having, other than tents, having campers or having vehicle traffic out to the
Yeah,
lot.
that's a total different ballgame.
That's what caught my
That's a whole
attention.
different ballgame. Wilderness camping is, here's the parking area, there's the trails, you walk.
Well, we could do that.
Yeah,
That's
you
no
walk
problem.
in, but the minute you jump over that line, to me, that falls into the campground.
Campground, yeah.
Right.
How can this application come into us, other than as a campground, if we don't have anything that covers it?
It
Well,
can't
what-
come into us other than the campground.
Even
You
if,
can-
even if there's no campers out there, if you go straight
the state
tent.
has very good outlines of what they define as wilderness and primitive wilderness camping. They do, but the minute we get into the road, the minute you put a vehicle, the minute you put an ATV, you jump into our campground ordinance,
Right.
which you don't want to be into.
No,
Well, I would assume
that's
you don't.
totally against what we want to do.
And that's
No.
also in the
You know what I mean?
watershed
It's-
for Bartlett Pond, so I mean, the septic, to me, is the biggest issue
Alright,
up there.
that's-
Well, we can stay far away from it. We have 75 acres.
Well, it has
work
more to
with.
do with how it flows into the pond and, porta potties, and that's gonna be a tough sell,
Right.
uphill from Bartlett Pond.
Unless you're limited to 10,000 square feet per site. How big? That's state law. Primitive wilderness camping, 10,000 square feet per site.
Anybody want to go take a look at this sometime?
Well, it's informational so far. I think to take a look at it would be part of an application myself.
Yeah.
All right, so we gotta wait for that.
Yeah, like you've got the guidelines that came from Vermont.
Yeah, we just pulled up a bunch of stuff
Maybe-
online to find out, what.
Basically, like what Andy's saying, those are the things we're going to want to see. Because if you follow these guidelines that that Vermont has, I guess it's called Vermont. Yeah. Camping's got to be 100 feet from a stream, 200 feet from a property line, 1,000 feet from a road. You're only allowed 3 nights. So those type of things really define
In
it.
Maine, it's
Do
250
we
feet.
know of any primitive campgrounds around that aren't state-run?
I don't.
Yeah, so all the ones that are there are state-run, and they're very strictly run.
State
and
or
they
federal?
and they got people
Well,
on
they got
staff
both.
there
There's both.
24/7.
State or
and
federal, but
federal.
I have yet to find a private one.
And it's, to me, it's a high-maintenance thing, and it has to really
Yeah.
be, because you're going to have 40 people turning over every 3 or 4 days.
The-
A lot of traffic, a lot of in and out.
The thing that they ran into problems on private one, everyone I looked at applications and looked at places where they tried it, the thing they ran into first was liability insurance for fire and EMT, right off the bat.
Yeah.
Because you are now off the grid. But you're not driving in, these are people walking in.
Yeah.
So you end up with a 250 feet from the water, you end up with a 10,000 square feet per site.
And I would say that if we were to proceed with this, we would probably put stipulations in there as to definite things you could or could not do. Like when you mentioned campers, I mean, that's not primitive anymore. It's basically tents.
Motorized vehicles are a no.
Yeah. Well, I don't know about that. I haven't researched
Yeah.
it to that point, but.
Well, that kind of
What
beats
do
up the snowmobile and the four-wheeler.
Yeah, I
right?
was saying, what do you
Yeah.
Yes.
But
But-
I guess I
We
mean
need to-
I guess I have a little different on it. ATVs and snowmobiles, I'm okay with because you're still packing it in. You're putting you're bringing a tent. Pop-ups, pickup trucks, RVs,
That's different.
different. I mean I think like the snowmobile. If somebody wants to do winter camping or something, it's I guess it's no different than walking, and they're still schlepping it in.
So,
I
I
wouldn't
guess,
have a personal problem with that. I think Frank is saying that because it's in the primitive campsite rules.
Yeah.
But if you call it a primitive campsite, you
No
can't have that.
motorized.
So I'm not sure how we would get around that. I'm not objective.
I mean,
I'm
look at
fine
the-
with that.
look at
I mean,
the
you can't expect
facility
somebody to come down here and do
Beans put
nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, that same thing, there's no motorized vehicles. The only ones are inland game and fishery stuff coming in there. There's some,
How do you keep people on your property from getting onto somebody else's
Well,
property?
in there, if it's posted,
Yeah,
for one thing, you don't belong there. But nothing out there is posted. I mean, it's free out there. If you go out there at any time, you'll find ATVers and snowmobilers, and you'll find hunters and people in the Bartlett Brook, and it's every day.
everywhere, yeah.
What do you do about that? You don't do anything, right? Is that right? because I live on that road and I go out there all the time.
Well,
I hunt out there.
yeah, we have
And
that
it's somebody
problem,
else's
too.
property up till now, you know.
Of course, we still haven't hit the thing that road is an abandoned road.
Benny Hill Road. That's a town
Benny Hill
road, correct?
No, it's an abandoned road.
Really?
Yeah, it was abandoned 5, 6, I don't know how many years ago.
That's why they don't plow it.
Up past the transfer
That's why it's
station.
not plowed, correct?
In
Yeah,
that
it's
and
okay.
Chadmore Ridge were abandoned for a 10-year period, not that many years ago. I want to say 4 or 5 years ago. So that one, I don't know how you get the road commissioner, public works director to dance with that one. I don't know. Maybe they selectmen have to vote to unabandon it, but that puts it in another bailiwick too. But that's officially an abandoned road, and I'm not sure when that timeline's up. But I say 5 years, could be 10 already. I
Kind
don't
of weird
think
because
so.
there's a speed limit sign out there and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Yep, yep.
It's abandoned. I guess you could go as fast as you want now,
Well,
right?
it gets plowed too. It gets plowed too. I mean,
Yeah, it gets plowed for about half the until it gets out of control.
Yeah.
It gets plowed. I don't know who does it. But
somebody
it gets-
else drops a blade going through
Yeah.
there.
So if Mr. Sylvestre doesn't want to come in under the campground ordinance, I'm still kind of stuck on that. It's like, how does it come back to us?
Where do we go from here?
How does it come into us?
Has to come into us in the camp, it's a campground.
All right.
In the-
I work in
the
campgrounds all day
application,
long.
It says wilderness
But,
campground.
but it really.
Campground.
But how do people come in under this primitive and wilderness camping things?
We don't have anything for primitive.
But the state does.
State
I mean,
does.
he has to get a permit from the state anyways.
Yeah.
right?
So in order to do that, you'd have to qualify for their standards for
I
a
would think
primitive
so, yeah.
campground, which is
I mean, the
No
state,
vehicle- no
requires a
vehicles.
permit anyway.
So I can do that. I can work with the
Also,
Department of Human
waiver
Services. I already got
on
that.
What?
The Department of Human
Town, whatever,
Services. I got that
that's a
already.
question.
The information to you got to get a permit from them.
Yes, yes.
That's fine.
Yeah.
So
Can,
Which means they
I
have to
guess I
comply.
would work on that stuff and the firemen before I
I would do that
deal
first.
with this
Yeah.
part.
Be
Yeah.
careful what you ask for, because this is the DHS rules related to campgrounds.
Yeah.
If you go as a primitive, there's no water stations. Each park except Wilderness shall provide water. So I mean, if you're going to say state, as soon as you go Wilderness, there's no sewer, there's no water in the
That's right.
state regulations.
and you'll have to satisfy DEP upslope from Bartlett Pond.
Yeah, but I mean, if you read the state definitions, when you go Wilderness, it's Wilderness.
Yeah,
There's-
we're going to try to leave that alone as much as, you know, the pine needles are going to be on the ground. Everything's going to be left alone. You know
we just
what I
want to
mean?
see toilet paper at the end of the
The
week.
kicker is that definition between wilderness and primitive wilderness, which are two categories.
So I guess if I get a
and
permit from the
campground.
state, then I should come back with that, correct?
I would certainly have
Then-
that as a first, because they're gonna have to approve a lot of it anyway.
Right, and that's
Yeah.
fine. I'm not.
And you're still gonna end up talking to the fire
Listen,
chief.
I work in campgrounds in a orchard
Yeah.
all day long, and that's not camping.
No.
And
Well,
that's
it's
not what
wilderness.
that's not what we want to
And
do
it
at
sure
all.
sounds like wilderness.
You know, you got
Yeah,
kids with
well.
video games in their hands,
Yeah.
and you know they don't even.
And they
it's
talk
not-
about porta potties in Wilderness, not porta potties, but actually, outhouses.
Yes.
Yes.
And I mean, I don't.
I'm kind of against the outhouse thing. I'd rather.
I
do
know
yeah.
there's a
porta
porta
potties.
potty and have
You
just
can't
speed
hold your
right
breath
up.
that long.
Yeah.
So is the board leaning towards not reviewing this under our own campground ordinance?
I think
don't-
the
I don't
problem.
know.
It's a wilderness
I
campground.
don't think he wants to apply under that.
I don't think he has a choice.
I think he's got to apply to the campground rules. I think when we look at DHS's requirements for a wilderness campground, we need to go through it. The question is, we're in gray water in the sense that not.
Pretty straightforward.
Yeah. We're in uncharted waters in the sense that we don't have an ordinance. We can't tell you what to do because we don't have an ordinance that says we can tell you what to do.
We have a campground ordinance.
That's-
And this is a wilderness campground. You can call it a wilderness campground, a potty campground,
Andy's campground.
Andy's
It's still a
campground. You can call it anything you want, but it has the word campground in it. And if it's a campground, it has to go under our campground ordinance.
So you're
Well, we're not using
So,
that word.
If he says camp in,
you're looking at it as a campground application with 1 million waivers.
pretty much.
That's what I was telling him earlier. Is they have to have 1 million waivers to get it through.
Probably not
And if he
enough
wants to
to
do,
do it.
and if he wants to do a primitive campground, then he's going to deal with the state guidelines for primitive campground as well.
Primitive
We don't-
camping, not
primitive-
campground. You're using
Yeah,
the wrong
campground.
word.
Yeah, I think
It's a
you-
campground.
No, if he goes to the state, can we make a waiver for the quad runners and snowmobiles, motorized vehicles,
I don't know.
for our own town?
I have no idea.
I didn't see anything in. I mean, I just went through quick. I didn't see anything saying. They talk about RVs, but that's as far as they go as RVs. And they define RVs in 5 different categories.
Yeah.
Yeah, even Winnebagos. And
Yeah, from Winnebagos down
Yeah.
to pop-ups, they're all.
I read some of it. I didn't read it all, but
Well,
But
I
there's
guess initially I'd like to see you come back with something from the state.
And
in the meantime,
And
in the meantime,
something from
we're going to look. Sorry, Frank. go ahead.
Yeah, and the fire chief.
sure.
Well, I like to give you guys interesting challenges, you know.
Yeah,
You don't want it plain and simple all the time now. do
So
you?
everybody got their homework to do?
If it was just a challenge, it'd be a different story. Unfortunately, we got a pile of this stuff that says what we can do.
Right.
And in the meantime, we can look at the state regs.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I kind of doubt that they'll let us waive requirements of their ordinances, but.
Well, we can't waive theirs.
No.
We can waive ours, but we can't waive theirs.
Right.
But
There was,
what's going to happen? We have a campground now. Probably going to have other campgrounds. We're going to hold certain campgrounds are going to be held to certain requirements
Well-
in our ordinance. So it's hard to say because they're intense that we're going to just waive it all. You know.
With the tent, I didn't have the problem. The minute we got into motorized vehicles, I had a problem
That's a campground.
because now we got to hold
Or
all
these
this
pop-ups.
stuff.
I look at as more public safety, and I'm not strong on public safety, but I look at it more as public safety and sanitation and everything else. There's no showers. There's a porta potty.
Did Andy just say he's not strong on public safety?
If you go,
You running for office right now? No?
if you
See,
go, Andy's,
but when you start getting into 40 sites,
Yes.
there's going to be, I'm sorry, I'm going to say it right out, there's going to be people pissing behind a tree. I mean, we're going to
Or
get
in the
that.
60 sites.
You know, especially, there's no showers.
Like,
Some
this is
people are
why-
going to go there. Maybe the average guy's going to go there for 3 days, but you're going to have some people who are going to go there for a week.
But this is why they
Well,
say
see-
minimum of 10,000 square feet.
See, the shower,
There's a reason. You know?
the shower thing doesn't bother me, but the sanitation is going to be an issue.
Kurt,
Yeah, we gotta do
Kurt, what
something
were you
strong.
trying to say?
the DHS's rule, primitive versus wilderness.
Yeah.
Primitive site, a site which does not have access to water, sanitary buildings, and is located in a wilderness recreation area. So,
What does that mean?
you know, if you file under a primitive, I'm not sure we have the jurisdiction to say
It's a wilderness.
you need, yeah,
Septic.
We don't have a
Septic.
definition.
You have
But
state
it's a state-
regulations. You have state regulations and you have town regulations.
right.
So he has to follow the state regulations. He has to follow the town regulations.
And
Well,
I
we
don't
don't
know. I don't know how he goes around it because he's breaking new territory here.
Well, that's a good idea. I like doing that.
Well, I mean, you got to go to the more stringent rule, and the more stringent rule would be the state because we don't have one.
I think by the time you get done with the DHS, we'll have a better understanding.
Yeah, it's worth it. I mean, because
So why don't I work with them first?
Yeah,
and
I
if
would.
they give me permits, then I'll come back and see you. Now,
Yeah.
as far as being recreational area, all that area is recreational right now. All of it.
Well, but it is to you. And it is to me. I mean, I ride an ATV. We're all over the place out there.
Right.
But the minute you put a definition on it, the minute you make it a business, in
It's,
town,
you put the
it falls
buckets
in a
all
entirely
the
different
time.
category. It's something
Right.
not just recreation. It's your recreation.
I highly suspect that when you put 40 campers out there for 6 months, the posted signs are going to go up.
Yeah.
That's what I think is going to happen.
Right.
You know, and they can't post the trails, but the butters are probably going to post their property because you're going to have a lot of people all of a sudden running around with guns, hunting and trapping and doing stuff that these outdoor
Yeah,
primitive.
I mean-
and that's fine. And I'm
Well,
not
they do
saying-
that
I'm
now,
not saying
but-
there's anything wrong with that, but now you're making a surge of people in a certain area,
Right.
right? And I suspect that what was not a problem before will probably become more of an issue for some landowners in town saying, okay, now we got 40 people times 2 or 3 people per site, so 100 people all of a sudden. that are just
Weekend warriors.
weekend warriors coming down here and they're all hunting. It's a different atmosphere. I mean, you're working at a campground. It's a different atmosphere. I'm not saying it's good or bad. I'm just saying. And so what happens when all that open space, if it does get posted, where are they hunting at that? I mean, they're going down. I don't know how it all works. I mean, there's so many things.
Yeah, bottom line, it's a good use of the land. It theoretically is a good use of the land. Unfortunately, we can't just say it's a good use of the land.
Yeah, but everybody's doing it now. It's just nobody has a place to stay.
Yeah.
Everybody goes out there and hunts and fishes and does whatever right now. Every day.
But they don't put a sign up saying camping welcome here.
it's easier to ask forgiveness than it is
Right.
to ask permission.
Right.
Lean your rifle here.
But, you know, that's
enough.
what I mean. Everybody does it now, right? I mean, we all know that.
Well, it's just crisscrossed with ATV trails up there.
Yes.
I mean, it's tons of work. Any good piece of land has
There's a lot of
tons of them.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's definitely getting used.
I think
Right?
It's getting used, but we're not
DHS
getting much out of it. That's the whole idea.
I see where you're going
You
with
know what
it.
I mean? It's getting used, but nobody's getting anything out of it. These people are staying in Biddeford, they're staying here, they're staying there, they're staying everywhere.
Well,
They don't stay here because they don't have a place. You know?
I got them out in Chadwell Ridge. I go out there with ATVs, and then now they're putting a 30-foot camper up out there.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, we own the property. I can put campers out
Yeah.
there. It's mine. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So what? Nobody can really say anything about it. But that's not what we're trying to do. We're not. I don't want to build houses out there. I like to buy Humphrey's land. If this would work out,
Yeah.
I'd like to buy Humphrey's land and keep it all open.
Well, he's the one that's Just up from you going towards.
He owns the
That
other
the
side of
piece
the
they
street,
logged
but he
out?
owns like 250.
Didn't they log off some of that? Is that the section
Yeah,
you're
they
talking
logged
about?
it a few years ago.
Right.
Probably about 5 maybe.
Right. Okay.
But they got 250 something acres out there at a reasonable price. We just spent too much money on this piece right now, so we can't do it.
Does he go around Bartlett then? Does he go on the north side of
No,
Bartlett?
he's on the opposite side of the
Okay.
street.
No, he's going up
Okay.
towards the townhouse road. So is there anything else you need from us? Or?
No, I just needed to. I needed your input. Now I know I got to go to the state
Okay.
next, and then I'll go see the
That's
fire.
good, that's why.
I'll put this on my stack of things to do.
Yeah, we'll
I'm gonna read
investigate.
it.
Well, I'm not gonna let you guys.
Well, there's a lot-
it's
lot to
quite
know.
this easy, so you know.
Yeah.
I'll be back.
I just want
Just so you know,
to say one more thing.
we'll see what the state says.
I just want to say one more thing, because I don't want to mislead you by any means. Because we're saying go to the state first, doesn't mean that if you get state approval, you'll get approval of this board.
Right.
So you may spend a fortune with the state. It doesn't guarantee that this will fly. And it doesn't mean it won't fly.
Well, this kind of
But-
stuff really doesn't cost money. It's just work. Unless they give you the permit, then you got to pay for it, right?
Yeah. Well,
But
I'm
up
just
to that
saying,
point, you have to work.
sometimes you got to
stuff.
put engineering stuff together. So there's
Well,
money
yeah.
involved in putting
but
that.
for this primitive,
Yeah.
what kind of? Do you ever see a primitive engineer? I never saw one.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I
it's
don't know.
called-
I haven't seen one yet.
Oh.
Well, I don't know. They did cut things on stone
You
walls
got to
and
have
stuff,
some
right?
kind of path or something to get a tent out there. Some way to get a vehicle out there to get a tent.
I'll
Right.
tell you, you'd be surprised if I did what
But
I did.
that-
If you start
I did
putting
a chance on my
paths
property,
to
and I
the
had a
woods,
quad runner
does it
run through
change
there.
the stormwater? Does he need a stormwater
It's
permit?
considered,
I don't
whether
know.
it's considered impervious or not.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, some stuff, like I said, we're going to do a pond in there, so I'm going to get DEP permits for all that kind of stuff. I already talked to the fire department. We're going to put a hydrant in it. They're actually willing to supply the stuff for the hydrant, is what he told me. To talk to the chief before I do it, because they don't have, except for the road.
Yeah.
But in the middle of the woods, if they can get in there and get water, that'd be nice, right? I mean,
Here we go.
Can't be
Read
bad.
this stuff.
don't lose that paper.
Are you kidding? This will be on the top of the pile.
Okay, we all set?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Thanks
Thank
a
you.
lot.
Thanks.
What else we got? Minutes?
Minutes. This was the big minutes. September 17th, 2 public hearings. Tammy spent hours on these minutes.
Oh, I had a question for Tom.
I think Tom will be back next time.
Have you got any feedback from the first one about the zoning
Kathy,
change?
I hadn't heard anything yet. Tom's been on vacation, though.
When Tom left, he's had numerous phone calls into Natalie requesting either a conference or something so that they can discuss the contract zoning.
Okay.
I do not know whether or not he was able to get a hold of her.
But there is still progress.
They're making progress
Okay.
and Katie's staying right abreast of things.
Okay.
Do you know if he went to the town administrator about having Natalie come in and give us an hour and go?
That I don't know, honey. I don't know about that yet. And the town administrator is also on vacation right now, so they'll both be back next Monday.
Cool.
Have a motion to approve the minutes? I'll make that motion.
All right, I'll second it.
Any discussion? All in favor? It's unanimous. All right, on the change of zone request form, I talked to the selectmen about that. They'd like us to have a public hearing on it.
On the form?
Yes, that was their mandate, their suggestion.
What?
On that change of zone request form.
Going to the ZBA.
No, this is the first one.
Form.
For the form itself, where we're going to charge like someone like Kathy
Oh,
Mann would
okay,
have to.
right, the charge.
But something that kind of came out of that as a side note is someone had the idea of setting up a separate fee schedule so that we would be able to change
Sure,
our
that's
fees
the
without...
recommendation we've had in years past.
Yeah,
from
well,
Natalie.
we'd like to move ahead with it.
Yeah.
Tammy, could you contact, I don't think you've been in contact with MMA yet, but could you contact them and try to find out what the process is and see if they could give us a sample maybe from another town or something that we could adopt?
Regarding the fees being outside of the...
Having a
ordinance.
separate fee schedule from the ordinance.
So they don't have to, I thought we just did that with the dump a couple of years ago, so every time Clinton wants to change the price per tire from $2 to $3, he doesn't have to come before the selectmen.
That
He
was,
could, they could just, selectmen could vote to do it. We don't have to have a special town meeting to do it. I mean, I object.
We don't-
I think the idea of having a public hearing to change a form, to put a form out is ludicrous. In that case, I would go against it and say to hell with it. I mean, they can keep their own forms and do what they want.
Nobody's gonna come anyway.
Not for that.
Yeah, but that's the principle of the thing. Every time we have to change a paperwork form, you got to have a public hearing. What's a public hearing
I
cost?
think the form is because there was a fee tied to it.
Right.
And I think that's what.
And
why
because
they
the fee is gonna
asked
become
public-
part of the zoning ordinance, it has to be reviewed. They did make somewhat of a legitimate point about it. I mean, it made sense to me when they said it,
Yeah.
because it's a change in the zoning ordinance, and we're imposing a fee in the zoning ordinance, that the application
The fee
becomes
is
part
the
of the
part.
ordinance.
The fee is the part.
And the fee is the part, not so much the form, the fee is the part. And so for that reason, they wanted to have a public hearing, just to make sure.
And if we can get a separate schedule, then that'll change. That
Maybe
was
we
Christina's
can get it
idea.
together with another
Alright.
public hearing on something else, back to back.
Well, it kind of segues into something else we need to look at. We need to get together with a road review and have
Yes.
another public hearing on the revised driveway ordinance. So maybe we could just do that the same night, do that first. And
Before we go too far ahead, we got to find out what these people are here. Because
Yeah.
we're already through our.
this is
Can we
something
help
to
you?
take home, and I think
I've
you
seen a
are.
copy.
Well,
I've seen a
we
copy,
got-
but I think
we
another
got
copy.
a little late, but,
We're interested in discussing the campsite proposal, but have you already gone by that?
Yes.
The wilderness
Can we give
campsite?
them 5
Campsite, yes.
Sure. The guy just left.
It was just an information. It
Oh,
wasn't
I
an
guess we
actual
can't do it with
application.
the
It's
gentleman, huh?
informational.
No.
Oh, okay, okay.
we were just interested in just saying about, is that the one with the slips? on
No.
the-
No.
Oh, it's a different one. Huh?
No, different one.
Right, that's-
Other end of town.
Yeah, this is,
This is like tent camping, wilderness, just wilderness camping.
Oh, okay, all right.
Well, we just wanted to, if we can just take a moment to say, we are on East Shore Road.
No, it's not appropriate for us to talk about this
without the applicant being here.
You know, the applicant being here.
Everything is
That
supposed to
was-
be public. and-
That was last week, right?
Yeah, we had a public hearing. I
Yeah.
think that's probably the last one.
How are we supposed to know as property owners that there's going to be something like that on the agenda if we don't live in town?
Town,
I can answer that one for you. The town of Waterboro has a news update that goes out anytime one of the boards publishes an agenda. So you can take and sign up on the town of Waterboro's website to receive all of these agendas.
Oh,
So that way you would know, you'll enter
Yeah.
your email address in, and those agendas will go directly to you as soon as they're posted.
It's for the town of Water, is it East Water or Waterboro?
No,
Just
Waterboro.
Waterboro.
Yeah.
And there'll be a place where we can enter.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay.
Every committee and every up there has a place that you can put it on the list. So.
So you don't get any of the local little newspapers or anything like that, because they're also posted in that. It's also posted on the town website.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we also inform that we don't get the newspaper.
Yeah, there's just a
Sounds
couple.
good idea.
Yeah, and
Absolutely.
it's, normally the agenda's up usually the Friday before the actual meeting.
Yeah.
So now if there's a public hearing or anything, that would go to a local newspaper. And they're also posted here within the town hall. But
so if we have something to say about that, that issue, should we write to you all? Or-
At this point, that would be the best thing to do, because we've already had a public hearing. Our next meeting will be between the applicant and the board. We won't be taking public comment.
Okay.
But you can take and send your information to me, the secretary for the planning board, along with the code and planning offices. I'll take and write down my email address for you.
You might want to view some of our planning board meetings previous to this one.
Actually, on the town website, you can get out of the videos. The last meeting we just had is up there. It's a
Okay.
little late. It's
That'll give
lengthy.
you a
I'd have a
gist of-
cup of coffee when you know, a lot of it's pretty boring.
And that was about an hour
It was
long.
good coverage.
The room was full of people, and I bet a lot of your questions will be
Yeah.
answered on that.
Yeah.
Good idea.
Okay, thank you.
All right?
Thank you.
Not to mention, it's just good fun.
It's good TV.
Good TV, that's what I was looking for.
So we need to try to,
That's our revised road ordinance.
we need to try to get together with the road review committee and have
But this
a,
is the one we did already.
Yeah,
but they revised it.
Oh, they have revised it?
yeah.
They revised it, they included a lot of our suggestions, and the selectmen have requested that we get back together with them
Okay.
and have a public hearing at the same time. Is that the idea?
Thank you.
No, I think
You're welcome.
Thanks.
Not a public hearing at the same
No,
time.
Right.
just meet with road
What
review.
was supposed to happen is that road review committee put this ordinance together. We reviewed the ordinance, went to a public hearing with the selectmen. At that meeting, there was concerns with what the planning board wanted and what the road review committee wanted. The road review committee was supposed to, at that time, meet with the planning board members and work together some kind of neutral ground on the thing, put our thoughts and their thoughts together. Instead, they went and they adopted some of our thoughts and put it together. They wanted the way they felt it should be, which is fine, but we haven't had any conversation with them as to whether or not it's fine with everybody. What I suggested to the selectmen at the meeting was that instead of having this at a public hearing where certain people still have issues, that as it was supposed to happen, road review was supposed to meet with planning board and come to an understanding on it. And then, once everybody's on board, and it looks like, or as close as we can be, then bring it to a public hearing. So we still have to meet with the road review committee,
That's the first step.
iron out the details, make sure that everybody's comfortable. I think they've come a long way with the ordinance. They adopted a lot of stuff. I have issues with some of the definitions.
Oh, I quickly.
The definitions are just horrible, as far as I'm concerned.
Well, some of them, and mine, I think I'm easy for me. One of them where we were talking about culvert should be of adequate size. They've got a definition now. It's got a minimum, it's got a type, it's got to be CMP, it's got to be galvanized. I don't want that stuff in there. That's up to the road commissioner. That's up to the public works director. I'm not going to tell them what kind of culvert.
These are the things we have to work out.
Yeah.
Right? So we have to have another meeting about that to work
Yeah.
that out, to make sure we're all on board so that we don't go to a public hearing and
Yeah.
there's people from the planning board fighting with people with the road review committee because we're not agreeing on terms. They've made some modification. I think there's improvement. There's still conflicting language in the document. And I don't understand why they left it in there, because I had rewritten it a certain way that there wasn't anything conflicting, and it's still there. And I'm going to go back to section 1. This ordinance shall apply to all driveways within the town of Waterboro. All driveways. It says clearly, this ordinance shall apply to all driveways within the town of Waterboro. The next paragraph, it says, but it doesn't apply to private
drives.
private. It's only this ordinance shall apply to all private driveways. So what is it? All driveways or all private driveways? So I mean, paragraph 1 and paragraph 2 don't even agree in the same
I think
section.
you almost take out number one. I mean, apply to a new driveway. They ought to be
And
new
then it says
driveway.
private driveway shall be deemed to apply to a new driveway.
It's something ought to be as of date. Boom, boom, boom.
So I had written language that incorporated all that. I left out
Yeah.
the all driveways because it ain't all driveways. It has nothing to do with all. It has to do with private driveways. And I forget the language I have. I have to look it up in my paperwork. But I made it all into one paragraph, and there was nothing in my mind that was conflicting. And I'm not. Maybe they have a reason for putting it that way, but I don't understand it. I don't see why we're saying one thing, the next paragraph saying something else.
Well, sometimes the meeting of irons goes out real easy.
So I don't know.
So should we meet on their schedule or our schedule, or does it matter to anyone? I don't know what nights they meet.
Tuesdays, every other Tuesday. Dave, was it last night or is it next week?
Road Review Committee?
I mean, I thought we were talking to selectmen.
No.
Yeah, I thought the road review committee met once a month.
You guys don't care which way we do it, do you, Dave? As long as we get together. I just think it might be a little more informal if we just meet with them during their meeting if they're willing.
Yeah, we can do
That's
that.
fine.
I mean, I got a problem with their
Dave's looking
maximum grade where it intersects a road.
I think there's a lot of
18
questions.
18-inch slope. That's
Second
What's that?
I
Wednesday.
can name a lot of driveways
Second
that have way more
Thursday?
than an 18-inch slope right now.
Wednesday.
But that's-
Well, they changed it to
that's
5%.
At
They were
what time?
3%, and they changed it to 5%.
Is
Yeah,
that,
but I mean, you know what I mean?
does that fall
My driveway's
on
probably
day the second?
15%, and I can get out of it
Which
every
would be
single
the
day.
eighth, so we're
Yeah,
right?
100% slope.
And
Next Wednesday.
And that's,
Next Wednesday.
Next Wednesday, 6 p.m.
Once a month?
Yep.
we'd have to be on their agenda. They'd have to be expected.
All right. Second
Do
Wednesday.
you want to see if we can get on?
Sure,
And
let's see if we get out next
If
Wednesday.
not, we'll go for the next one.
No, Wednesday's good.
Wednesday the 8th. Do you know what time that is, Dave? 6. Thank you. All right, we're going to try for the 8th, and
That's,
we'll see if
that's upstairs in Old Town Hall.
Yep.
Dave, what is the road review committee? I have it somewhere, I was just gonna write it down.
And I guess there was another question about who enacts that. If that has to be enacted as an ordinance, or what?
Yeah, it would have to go in as it would go as part of the. It would end up in our
Why
in our
wouldn't this
books.
be part of Public Works?
Well, that's the
Why
thing.
wouldn't
It's
this be a
like,
Public Works ordinance?
Because it would become under planning. It would be under our planning board. It would be the same thing as
it
you know.
would be part of our checklist.
Yeah. Well, actually, it'd be the same as building code.
But what did you find out, Tammy, when you looked at the new charter about how that would be handled?
That I didn't get that far. I did not notice anything in there. I do know that if you want to put a driveway in that is not on a state aided road, you fall under our requirements for the town of Waterboro.
Right.
Is there a zoning ordinance on it? We just have what we have in the book right now. If it's on a state numbered road, then they have to go to the state
Yep.
to be able to get a driveway.
But it would be under a zoning ordinance. It would just be, we wouldn't have jurisdiction over the driveway.
I think in this ordinance, I think there's a couple of places where code enforcement gets involved in it too. And I know that at one of the public hearings, there was at one of the discussions we had, there was comment on how do you enforce the ordinance, how do you track what driveways were there, what driveways weren't there, who's changed the driveway, who hasn't changed the driveway, and that's an enforcement issue. I know that I brought up that if I have a subdivision and I put a driveway in and it meets the ordinance, but before I can get the road approved, a homeowner goes in there, changes the grade and paves it, and I can't make my subdivision approved road now because it doesn't meet the ordinance with the driveway thing. Why am I going to be liable? And the discussion was, well, that would be a code enforcement issue, that you have to make sure the code enforcement officer approved that driveway when you had it done, and then it doesn't fall on you. It falls on the homeowner, but it still means that the rest of the association doesn't get the road approved.
By the time they have enough people in there to do docks and mooring, they'll have no problem checking up people.
Yeah, right. Driveways will be easy compared to the docks.
So
Or-
it's
The
just,
driveway master, like a
But
dock master.
he's quite right, that got brought up. And there needs to be driveways into date so-and-so. And then, remember what we did when we had gravel pits? Remember when people came out of the woodwork saying, I've had a gravel pit since 36?
yeah.
You know, there's no documentation.
I mean, I guess I don't know why we're doing this.
The premise is, I think, for
Safety, I
snow, snow removal on these roads. People with their driveways like this, they park on the road. Plows are having a hard
I
time
think it's
getting
easy to
by.
say there's no parking on the town road. It's
I brought that up, but there was another enforcement issue. We're gonna, take our town cop instead of fighting crime and drugs and have them write tickets.
I know, but I know, like we did a subdivision on can't think of the road. It goes basically behind. What the heck is that road?
Middle road?
Yeah, it goes over the back way. It goes over to where like the not Head Start is off it, but that road. The town road comes through, and the lots were down
Yeah.
Austin
Hill Road?
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking if this ordinance is in effect, every one of those lots are unbuildable.
Yes.
Right.
And I think that's part of this ordinance. That's part of why this ordinance is here.
So
Because
so
there's
what
some
do we?
people that had a real issue with that being like that.
Oh, but it
But
goes
so-
the other way. Go off Middle Road. There's places, I don't care what the weather is, you're not going to get your
And
vehicle.
when I made the point that there'll be people in town that when you pass this ordinance, they won't realize it because they're not involved in it.
Right.
But their property is going to become inaccessible because they will not be able to get. And it's not fair to a guy that's paid taxes all these years. And what was thrown back at me was it's in the best interest of public safety for sight distance and everything else. But this is not Gorham or Kennebunk that's flat. And this was made from Gorham and Kennebunk, which is flat.
One of
with
the
this
things-
$100,000 lots. This is Waterboro, where we're hills and valleys. So you've got to be a little bit more liberal with a document like this, if you're going to have a document like this, and not make people's property worthless.
Look at the discussion when we were doing the wellhead ordinance, and there was a guy in town here that like a portion of his land was going to be affected, and he was in here in arms that we were decreasing his land.
I asked the town administrator and I asked Mark before he left if you would please take the original draft of this and the next 4 or 5 houses he did, give us reflection. How would this have affected it? And he got discouraged. They didn't want him to do that. I
Isn't
don't
there-
understand that. I mean, that would have given us feedback of, we would have had this. They wouldn't have been able to do it.
I don't know what's going on with this, but I know that I've been coming to town hall about every month for the last 4 or 5 months trying to get a hold of the revised ordinance.
Yeah, I
because
know.
I heard that there was a revised ordinance out, and I wanted to get a copy of it. I got this copy last Thursday,
Yeah.
and it was actually drafted on
May
Yeah.
14th.
May
Yeah.
14th, May, June, July, August. So it took me 4 months to even get a copy of the document.
But
On top of that, what really irked me, and I'm just going to say this, I had gone down and I spoke to an individual about, we were supposed to meet with Road Review Committee. It was put on the selectmen's agenda to discuss and vote or something. And even though everybody in town knew that the planning board had an interest, it would just kind of like flew by the planning board and still got to the selectmen. Which is like, how can that happen? I've been in people's offices 2 or 3 times asking to see this, knowing that I want to see it, knowing that the planning board had interest in it, and they just flew right by us, right to the selectmen. So I actually went to the selectmen's meeting and brought it up.
I think
That's
we just.
why. Okay.
That's why this is, because,
Okay, all right.
because this went in front of the selectmen for them to vote and discuss as the final draft. And it's like, what's up with that? It never came back to us like it was supposed to. And thankfully the selectmen were good and they said, hey, it was supposed to go back to planning board and you were supposed to work it out.
Well, we've had a fun 4 or 5 months going from a elected to an appointed road commissioner, public works director, job definitions and everything else. So I think a lot of that stuff is just...
But democracy is not supposed to be to shut the other guy up or keep him out of the process. Everybody should have a say in what happens.
True.
And when someone is being, I'll say shunned, we're not going to show it to you because we don't like what you have to say, and we're just going to, it really irked me. It really irked me.
Well, I feel if you people as a group or individuals have issues here, then let's get it out. And,
Well, I'm not sure if they do. I know I do.
and air it out, okay?
I mean, I think, Dave, like, look at your driveway. You wouldn't be able to have your driveway with this ordinance.
I think I would.
His driveway, why?
I've
It's
asked.
very gradual until you get
No, I think
300 feet
fine.
off the road.
More than 18
I've offered
inches.
several times. I've offered several times to go to drive with anybody that wants to go. Any of the selectmen, any of the road review, and I can go down Deering Ridge Road and come back through Roberts Ridge Road, and 60 to 70% of these driveways are all illegal. All illegal. And they're not dangerous driveways, but they would be illegal under this here.
Yeah, but I
And a lot of them could be put in legally. So I'd say out of that 50%, probably, say the 75%, maybe 50% of those could be put in legally. The other 25% would not be there at all.
Yeah.
And from being in the building business, I know. I have frontage on Deering Ridge Road, and I actually went and applied for a driveway ordinance, and Doug actually gave me the ordinance. That gave me the permit, which is great, under the old ordinance. Under the new ordinance, I wouldn't have got that permit, right? And that's the best lot I have on Deering Ridge Road. I've got 4 other lots on Deering Ridge Road. They're not going to stop me from building on Deering Ridge Road when I get ready to do it, because I have machinery that I can move the mountain if I have to. And I will get the site distance I need. But the average guy can't move the mountain, right? And you're going to have people that are going to get burnt bad with this ordinance. And I can show you all kinds of driveways that are totally, perfectly good driveways that don't meet this ordinance, that a person wouldn't be able to do it. And the other issue that I had with it, the big issue I had with it, is it's a taking. When you start saying you're going to take from the edge of the right-of-way and you're going to control a piece of property 25 feet into the guy's thing, and you're going to tell him what he's going to do and what he's not going to do with his property,
Yeah.
not by what it says by the ordinance, but by the feeling of a road commissioner. I want a drainage ditch going here, and I want this water to go there. It reminds me of what we dealt with in Saco, where we had this road commissioner at the time, and I'm not saying that our road commissioner's like that, but in Saco they had a real nasty guy that, you could not get a building permit until you get a road opening permit. And that's going to be the same thing in Waterboro. You cannot get a building permit until you get a road opening permit. And the city of Saco, on the roads that they had drainage issues with, would say, we're not going to give you a road opening permit unless we drain water across your property to the back of your property. So you would have to give the town an easement across your property all the way out back, 200 feet, 300 feet sometimes, right, in order to get a building permit. And that was totally legal for them to do.
Yeah.
And it was just, they had the power. In their ordinance, they had that power. And when I see that we're taking property from a landowner and saying, okay, now the road commission can come in and tell you what you're going to do with your driveway 15, 20 feet into your property, I have an issue with that.
It's just a proposal.
The
It is just a proposal, yes.
I mean, look at the temporary one. It's 100 feet.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's 8 inches of stone, 100 feet.
Inch and a half stone.
Inch and a half stone, 8
So-
inches thick. I mean, that's brutal.
So we have at least a week to look at it, possibly a month, so
Yeah.
read through it.
All right. I'm willing to bend on a lot of it. I mean, I realize that maybe it's in the best interest. There's some driveways that are downright hazard, that are totally blind. You can't see. They are a hazard. But how do you address those hazards without making it a hardship for everybody in town?
These are all good questions, And
I thought the original had a system of waivers. I don't know if this
There
one
was no
does.
waivers. But this one here,
actually,
there's
yeah,
nothing but waivers.
yeah.
They say you can go to the zoning board of appeals, and I don't see what the zoning board of appeals has anything to do with driveway waivers.
The only thing I think we
Well,
asked,
if it becomes a zoning ordinance, they would.
the thing we asked for was traceability, so
I don't know if it
when
becomes
somebody doesn't
zoning
get one,
ordinance.
doesn't get one, I want a written document.
All right. Are we done with that? Or?
Yep.
I don't think we've started this yet.
Yeah, but I mean, the place for that will be with them, and we can
Yep.
trash it out. I think
Yeah.
under communication, I don't have anything. Tammy, do you?
Yeah, I did include a communication in there that I received from Christina Silverman, the administrator secretary. It is in your packet. It says communication at the very top.
Yep.
Yep.
I skipped something too. I'll come back to it.
That's what we just
That,
discussed.
exactly. That's the only thing I wanted you to see, is that it was in there. Now, can I ask if you can't, if the road review committee is unable to meet with you on October 8th, do you want to do it for the first Wednesday in November?
And give them an option to come into our meeting? Yeah, whatever works
Or-
best for them.
Oh, yeah.
Well, they meet at 6, we meet at 7.
But we're off
So-
opposite weeks, right?
Yes, we're opposite weeks.
Yeah, oh, that's right, the second Wednesday.
Yeah, we'll leave it
Yeah.
up to you to negotiate, whatever works.
You got the power.
You know, something I skipped over here too was that last selectmen's meeting when they reviewed the changes to 2.08.
Okay.
Actually, there was a question at the time, but we did actually have a public hearing on that,
Mhm.
and no one showed up. So next Tuesday, they're going to discuss it. I think you're holding your own public hearing on that. That's a change
Right.
that would send
All of
conditional uses to the zoning board of appeals.
For,
So I'll plan to be there Tuesday. Anyone else?
Conditional uses of the
isn't that for non-conforming lots? Setbacks.
setbacks.
2.08.
Right. And that'd be this coming Tuesday.
And that'll be their public hearing. I'm not sure what kind of turnout there'll be for
I
that.
think that we forgot that we had a public hearing because nobody showed up.
Well, these are,
The
yeah,
public hearing was closed. It's like,
It's easy
okay,
to forget.
we didn't have the public hearing.
when nobody shows up.
Yeah.
Don't have any miscellaneous, no business, new business that I know of. Anybody? I just leave one item.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second, any discussion? All in favor? Unanimous.